The Anchorage and Marietta held a Christmas open house so locals could tour the historic building. The Washington County Historic Society has held a Christmas open house at the Anchorage for the past 3 years. The open house allows for people to come and take a tour of the house. Guests paid a fee of a non-perishable food donation to the Gospel Mission Food Pantry. Andrew Goodnight, the chair of the Anchorage Committee, believes it's important to remember our local history.
Well, it's important to let the community know that the building's here because, it's one of those things that you don't want it to fall into ruin. You want it to stay, the historic feature of the town. And it's just see a lot of buildings get torn down and become parking lots and things like that. So I'm involved in restoring the building because I want to see it restored to its former glory.
For more information about the Anchorage and its open house, you can visit our website at WTAP.com.